Foundation Cornerstone, Chapter 2. Bearing godly fruits. Let's talk about gentleness. It is what God uses to witness through the Christian testimony and some of the most effective attributes in sharing the gospel. God can work through a testimony of gentleness. So let's look up the definition of gentleness as used in 2 Corinthians chapter 10, verse number 1. Greek lexicon number 1932. Gentleness is a mildness, gentleness. Christians should remember the circumstances of their lives and all the gentleness and patience it took from God until they finally received the gospel. As gentle and as patient as God was with them in the beginning, they should be also toward all those that their testimony will reach. 2 Corinthians chapter 10 and verse number 1. Now I, Paul, myself, beseech you by the meekness and gentleness of Christ, who in presence am base among you, but being absent am bold toward you. Let's look in Titus chapter 3. Titus chapter 3, verses 2 and 3. To speak evil of no man, to be no brawlers, but gentle, showing all meekness unto all men. For we ourselves also sometimes foolish, disobedient, deceived, serving divers lusts and pleasures, living in malice and envy, hateful and hating one another. For people to hear and understand the gospel message, must first be lived in front of them in a Christian testimony. Then those people will see the grace of God living in their lives and perceive that God can also do the same for them. Every person wants to have mercy and grace from God as well as from those around them. As Christians, we must minister the same gentleness toward every person. Let's look in 1 Thessalonians chapter 2. 1 Thessalonians chapter 2, verses 7 through 12. But we are gentle among you, even as a nurse cherishes her children. So being affectionately desirous of you, we were willing to have imparted unto you not the gospel of God only, but also our own souls, because ye were dear unto us. For ye remember, brethren, our labor and travail, for laboring night and day, because we would not be chargeable unto any of you. We preached unto you the gospel of God. Ye are witnesses, and God also, how holily, how justly, and unblameably we have behaved ourselves among you that believe. As you know how we exhorted and comforted and charged every one of you, as a father doth his children, that ye would walk worthy of God, who hath called you into his kingdom and glory. For people to recognize the Spirit of God, they must first see it in a Christian, in all that Christian says and does. Let's turn to James chapter 3. James chapter 3, verses 17 through 18. But wisdom that is from above is first pure, then peaceable, gentle, and easy to be entreated, full of mercy and good fruits, without partiality and without hypocrisy. And the fruit of righteousness is sown in peace of them that make peace. God will minister through the testimony of gentleness by all that shall see it. They see it lived in front of them. It's a powerful fruit, gentleness. It's one of the most effective attributes in sharing the gospel. Gentleness.